What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to the latest Liverpool transfer news, and in this video we will talk about a lot. We will talk about Liverpool bidding for Bruno Fernandes. Reported by Portuguese and English newspapers, Liverpool are set to meet with Bruno Fernandes' agent and we are already preparing a bid for him. So let me know what do you think about that, and also we will take a look at the outgoing deals that Liverpool already had. There was a big announcement of one Liverpool player being sold, and also some other players are rumored to leave Liverpool. So there is a lot of new information in this video. If you enjoy these types of videos, please leave a like. It just takes a second for you guys to press the like button and it really helps me out. And according to English and Portuguese newspapers, Liverpool are set to meet with Bruno Fernandes' agent in London to talk about a second proposal being made for Bruno Fernandes' services. And Liverpool have been already talking with Sporting, Bruno Fernandes' club, because of Rafa Camacho. Rafael Camacho, it's now official. Liverpool has announced it on their website. Rafael Camacho has left Liverpool to Sporting for £5 million. That could rise to 7 million, but the most important thing is that we have a buyback clause inserted into Camacho's deal. So if he turns out to become a great player, we can buy him back for a cut price deal. Camacho is 19 years old. He only made like 2 appearances for Liverpool. So I think getting 5 million for a player who doesn't really play in the Liverpool first team, he only has 1 year left on his contract, is a great deal. And I think because of this, we have been talking with Sporting, and obviously I think Liverpool are interested in Bruno Fernandes, and there are a lot of articles in Portuguese newspapers. For example, Portuguese outlet Correio da Manhã is reporting that Liverpool are looking to scupper their rivals' chances of signing the Portuguese international, because Manchester United and Tottenham are also about to sit down with his agent, and he wants, I think the agent wants to hear all the English clubs' proposals. Bruno Fernandes said that he's a big fan of the Premier League and he wants to move to the Premier League sometime in the future, and that time could be now, because I think Sporting could get the most money for Bruno Fernandes right now, because he had an absolutely barnstorming season. 31 goals scored from midfield, and also getting something like 17 assists in total is an outstanding number, and I think that is a very good that is an outstanding season. And I think obviously Liverpool and other clubs are interested in Bruno Fernandes. I don't think Manchester United are as attractive to Man United as Liverpool, and Tottenham are not as attractive to Bruno Fernandes either as Liverpool are. We are the European champions and we are only going to improve. And according to Portuguese newspaper Jornal das Notícias, they are claiming that Liverpool have already made an approach for the midfielder, and we want him signed this transfer window, and apparently we have already bid something like 65 million pounds for Bruno Fernandes, according to these Portuguese sources. And I think these next few days are crucial in the Bruno Fernandes transfer saga, because his agent will sit down with both Liverpool, Manchester United and also Tottenham, and whoever proposes the best package, which means the best opportunities to grow his brand, to get great wages, signing bonus and everything else, add-ons, bonuses. There are a lot of different clauses when a contract like this is negotiated. And also I think Bruno Fernandes will want to play at a club which has a very good chance of winning trophies, because this guy is only like 24-25 years old, so I think his best years are ahead of him, and I'm really looking forward to what he decides, because whatever club he joins, he will be a very exciting player in the Premier League. He has a brilliant shot on him. I mean, you don't score 31 goals from midfield without having a great great shooting ability, and he can score some brilliant long-range efforts. And also Manchester United already secured the services of Daniel James of Swansea, but the biggest transfer that they have got is that it looks like they will sign Aaron Wan-Bissaka, the Crystal Palace right back, for £45 million, which could rise to £50 million with add-ons and bonuses. And that is a big signing for Manchester United, because they badly needed a right back and they want to keep improving their squad. They want to spend more money. So I think it would be a double delight for Liverpool to sign Bruno Fernandes, because not only would we get a brilliant midfielder who can score bucket loads of goals from midfield, and I think Liverpool really need a player like that, because as I said, Mane, Salah and Firmino is scoring a lot of goals, but the other midfielders are not chipping in with a lot of goals. So I think signing Bruno Fernandes would solve that problem just like that, very instantly. I think we could weaken a rival, either Tottenham or Manchester United. If they sign Bruno Fernandes, they would get a lot stronger than right now. And it would be a double whammy for Liverpool if Bruno Fernandes went to another Premier League club. So this is another incentive, another motivation for Liverpool to try and get this deal done. So I really hope that we do. And I would love to see a Portuguese player like Bruno Fernandes who can bang in some screamers from outside the box. Because since Steven Gerrard left, we didn't have a midfielder. Maybe Coutinho in his prime in the last 2 years in his Liverpool career, he could bang in some goals from midfield. But since Coutinho left, we don't have a midfielder who regularly we can count on to score 10-15 goals from midfield. And I really miss a midfielder like that at Liverpool. And Bruno Fernandes would be exactly the kind of player to do that. In other news, Michael Edwards, who is of course the transfer guru at Liverpool, has had another masterclass in the latest deal that he negotiated, because of course we signed Van den Berg from PEC Zwolle, and Michael Edwards inserted another clause in his contract, because Van den Berg's club Zwolle would get another £3.1 million if Van den Berg makes 350 appearances for Liverpool. That is combined, so in the Premier League and Europe and in the League Cup and the FA Cup. So that is a clause which I think if it's triggered, that is still a bargain. I mean, that would make combined like £5 million, a little bit less than that. And if we have a player who plays 350 games for Liverpool in total, that means that he has been a very, very big success. And then Liverpool will be happy to pay £5 million to PEC Zwolle. So I really hope that Van den Berg turns out to be a great player and a really successful one. And it looks like Crystal Palace are set to be interested in Simon Mignolet and Nathaniel Klein. According to Football Insider, who also claimed that the cost for these two players would be around 22 million, so about like maybe 12 million for Mignolet and 10 million for Klein, something like that. The report actually goes as far as to claim that Crystal Palace have already begun talks with Liverpool for these players. And it would be a good bit of business on paper for both clubs, especially for Crystal Palace, because I think they would get two very high quality and experienced Premier League players for less than £25 million. That would be a really good deal for Crystal Palace, and they are already having 45 million coming in from Manchester United. So maybe Liverpool could ask for a little bit more, and Klein and Mignolet have been good servants at Liverpool. I probably won't miss either of them that much. Liverpool probably need to sign a right back who is a little bit more similar to Trent Alexander-Arnold, who has a little bit more like end product and delivery, because Klein is a great defensively, but offensively he's very limited. When he reaches the final third, his final ball is not really as good as Trent. It's not really effective. He doesn't get a lot of assists, and he doesn't have the pace or the trickery to go past people. And Liverpool's playing style now heavily relies on the fullbacks. I think that's pretty obvious if you just look at the stats, that both Trent and Robertson got more than 10 assists this season that just finished. So I think we would need to sign a player who is maybe as good as Klein defensively, but better offensively. And also Mignolet could maybe stay at Liverpool, but he could leave as well. He has been saying for months that he wants to play for a club where he can regularly play. And that's not really a complaint for me, because Mignolet is not getting any younger, obviously, and he wants to play. He doesn't really want to sit on the bench. But I also heard some newspapers reporting that Mignolet wants to stay on at Liverpool and try to win as many trophies as possible, maybe ride it out one more season and play in the League Cup, in the FA Cup, and just try to win those competitions with Liverpool. So we shall wait and see. I will keep you updated on those news. And bad news for Naby Keita, who has sustained thigh and shin injuries, and he will miss Guinea's final group stage match against Burundi. And it's a very, very concerning injury, because Naby Keita has been rushed back into the national side because he is their standout superstar in his team, and Jurgen Klopp will likely be absolutely furious with this injury news. It's probably a blessing in disguise from a selfish perspective, because if Naby Keita can't really play anymore, he will maybe get a good rest for the rest of the summer, and he can join up with Liverpool for pre-season training. But I don't think Naby Keita was ready to play in the Africa Cup of Nations. He sustained the injury very late in Liverpool's season, and I don't think he should have gone to the Africa Cup of Nations. But I think their country really wanted Naby Keita to play, because he is their best player, and you want your best player on the pitch to make a difference. But it looks like that a small injury again hinders their progress, and I'm not sure if they will qualify to the knockout stages. Legendary former Liverpool goalkeeper Ray Clemence, he thinks that Virgil van Dijk deserves to win the Ballon d'Or in 2019, and I agree with him. But let's see what Ray Clemence said, and I quote: "Who had the biggest influence for Liverpool over the full year? I would say it was Van Dijk. There's an obsession with attacking and creative players winning it. It is more difficult to create and score goals, but when you have an influence over a side like Van Dijk had last season, it wasn't just what he did, it was what he gave. I think he should be a very strong contender for it. Alisson and Van Dijk have been impressive. I like to put the two of them together because I think the two of them have been a massive influence at Liverpool defensively and on the whole team as well. A year ago, if Liverpool went 1-0 up, you thought they are probably going to need to score another goal because they could concede one somewhere. Van Dijk and Alisson being alongside young talented players have meant that they can win some games with a single goal. The main two help with their experience. They are very difficult to beat, and that's what happened in the final. Alisson made a few excellent saves in the second half. I think Tottenham would have gone on to win the game had they got that equalizer. And also, have you seen what Alisson is doing at the Copa America? I've been watching their games, the highlights, very closely, and Alisson hasn't conceded a goal yet in an open play, or even like apart from penalty shootouts, which is incredible because Brazil already played 4 games, and also Liverpool, I don't think they conceded a goal in the last 3 games in the season. We beat Barcelona 4-0, and then we beat Wolves in the last Premier League game, and then we beat Tottenham 2-0, Wolves 2-0. So that's 3 Liverpool games where Alisson didn't concede 1 goal, and then 4 games for Brazil where Alisson hasn't conceded 1 goal. Absolutely remarkable. And also Alisson made some astonishing saves against Paraguay, which helped keep the scoreline at 0-0. And also, Alisson made a big save in the penalty shootout which helped Brazil win the penalty shootout, and they are now in the semi-finals. And if Argentina win their quarterfinal, it will be a Brazil-Argentina dream semi-final. I'm really rooting for that. I really hope that happens, because that would be just brilliant. And I'm just so happy that we now have such a world-class goalkeeper like Alisson. He is absolutely brilliant. And let's talk about Andy Robertson, because in 48 games, Andy Robertson contributed 13 assists in this season, including 11 assists in the Premier League. Only Trent Alexander-Arnold got more assists at Liverpool with 12 in the Premier League, and also Liverpool only conceded 22 goals in total, which is a record-breaking defensive season for if Liverpool are concerned in the Premier League. I don't think we ever had a season with only 22 goals conceded. And Stephen Warnock, a former Liverpool player, has said some very interesting things about Andrew Robertson. So let's listen to what he has to say, and I quote: "Both Andy and Trent on the other side had incredible seasons. I think last season, with the protection that Andy got from the midfielders, whether that be Fabinho, James Milner, Gini Wijnaldum or Jordan Henderson, he knew he was able to make those runs forward without leaving gaps behind them. When he's going forward, the quality of delivery he possesses is brilliant. You see a lot of fullbacks or wingers who get in a good position and they panic and try and overhit the ball. But the one thing you see with Robbo and Trent is they don't panic and they have composure. They slow themselves down a little bit in those positions, and their quality comes out. The biggest thing for me with Robbo is, and I know everyone talks about his assists and quality going forward, defensively he is superb. Your modern day fullback can often attack, but can he defend? Robertson can do both comfortably, and for me, I've said it before, he is arguably the best left back in the world at the moment. And I fully agree with him. He is the best left back in the Premier League, definitely. And this season that just finished, he has been the best left back in Europe. And Warner continued: "He is Scotland's captain on merit. When he first came into the club, I don't think at the time anyone would have predicted just what he has gone on to achieve so far and the level he is playing at. Would Jurgen Klopp have thought that? I'm not sure he would have thought he would have gone on to a certain level, but to the level he actually has, you have to give Robertson so much credit for that. Maybe part of it is working day in, day out in an environment like Liverpool's with world-class players that can bring the best out of you. When you are making your runs down the wing and crossing balls, and they are finding your teammates' runs and you are clicking, then you are going up 10 or 15%. And I think one of the major reasons of Andy Robertson's incredible rise has been his tireless hard work. I'm sure that in the gym and in the training sessions, which we don't really see, he has been working day in, day out on his craft. It's not a miracle that Andy Robertson is so good. It's down to hard work every single day, putting in the hours, putting in, the work in the gym. And Andy Robertson knows how tough it is when it doesn't work out. Because remember that when he was already an adult, he was playing in the 4th division in Scotland, and he had to actually do professional day jobs, which not many footballers do. And he wasn't, when he was already an adult, he wasn't a professional footballer yet. So he had to work hard and get his break, and he got to Celtic and then to Hull City and in the end to Liverpool. But that was through hard work, and I think early on in his career when he had little money and he had to graft, he had to work day jobs as well, that taught him some valuable life lessons, which I think he used as a very, very big motivation for himself to just give his all. And I think he has a similar work rate to James Milner, and I just love Andy Robertson. He's one of my favorite players at Liverpool, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I try to put my heart and soul into them because I just love telling you all the Liverpool news. I just love this football club and this community of Liverpool fans that I have on my channel. I'm so grateful to you guys, and I'm so happy that you guys are here and enjoying my videos, and I'm just can't wait for next season to start. Pre-season is very close to beginning, and until then we can enjoy the Africa Cup of Nations, the Copa America, and also on Monday I'm going to play five-a-side football with my friends in a nearby city, so I'm really looking forward to that as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Have an awesome weekend. See you later. Goodbye.